The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Jonah 1 and verse 2, hearing the voice of God. I know amongst the stories of the Bible, Jonah is one of the most interesting ones, where you can defy God and God pursue you no matter where you hide, and he puts you back to where he expects you to be operating from. That is why I normally advise, if God has called you, the best thing you can do is to accept the calling, the call early enough, because he will not let you free. He will pursue you in the bedroom, in the toilet. Do you remember David is saying that he was trying to run away from the presence of God, and he realized if he runs to the heavens, that is the throne room. If he tries to be here on the earth, he said this is his footstool. And he said, I will go to the desert. And then he noted the presence of the Lord was actually abiding there. And then he said, I will go to Adonith. And he realized that the Lord was also there. So you can't run away from God. You can't. Even these people, you see them blaspheming, contempting. The Lord has his own way of cornering you and hemming you within, whereby you shall find yourself in a situation that you have to acknowledge that the Lord is God. You can't die without acknowledging that. Go and ask those who died if you can get a chance of communicating with them. This is a point. When God speaks, number one, if you have noted, all the voices of God we are seeing from this man of God carries the word go. Every time you shall hear God speaking to you, there will always be a command of going. That's why you notice many people receive a calling through divine impartation, but you can launch yourself through the conviction, and then you realize it is not working because God hasn't spoken. When he speaks, he says go. So the voice of God carries commissioning authority. When the voice of God has spoken to you, nobody can question you. And if they question you, it is God who answers them. For instance, somebody can come and ask me, who made you an apostle? I cannot answer you. The one who made me an apostle, because I had him, is one that I allow him to come to answer you. And if there is something that is dangerous, is when somebody through you are mocking and blasphemy can say, let God answer you. You think God is coming there to sit down and try to convince you and negotiate with you, telling you, you need to understand, I called him and this is how I called him. Who? He has no business with the foolish mockers. Only the fool says there is no God. So number one, the voice of God carries the go authority, commissioning authority. Jesus tells them, go into the world, to the great city of Nineveh. The voice of God identifies for you or reveals to you the official place of your operations. It is the voice of God that scans for you the territory you are supposed to be operating from. You don't keep being in spiritual nomadism. From here to there, then to there, then to there. Do you see the way people nowadays are moving from one church to another, from one man of God to another? That is spiritual pastoralism, spiritual nomadism, or spiritual whoredom. That is one of the major way of showing the voice of God is limited. Why? He told him to go to the great city of the Nineveh, so not any other great city, and he chose to go to Tarshish. The voice of God had not identified that, so he was made to take a U-turn through a submarine and was taken to where he was supposed to go. So the voice of God will scan for you the right, correct, official, legal ground or territory where you are supposed to operate from, either in residence from, or setting up your business or ministry, or the company you are supposed to be working with. Then he says, and preach against it, not prophesy. The voice of God is the one defines your purpose. Voice defines your purpose. The voice defines the purpose. Preach against it. Preach against it. So the voice of God will define the purpose or the mission, and then the voice of God develops the energy of functioning with. The energy here is against. So these are war. So here he could not go and start saying, you are going to receive, you are going to go to America. This was not a prophecy. This is not a prophecy. Inspiration move, which people want. Here he is being told against it. So the voice of God will define the purpose. Preach, not to prophesy, not to teach. Preach. Then against, the voice of God will impart with the energy to use, because this is a vigorous, aggressive energy, because its weakness has come up before me. The voice of God will always scan for you the type of the battle that you are engaged in, because it's wickedness. So why have you been told to preach against the city? Wickedness. So many people are in battles of life, but they do not know what they are fighting. So you are just fighting, but you don't know you are fighting what. So in most cases, you don't know the tool to use. So when you hear the voice of God will always make you understand the kind of the strongholds you are dealing with. Wickedness. So what kind of the wickedness? They were doing a lot of wickedness in Israel. They were colonizing Israel, and they were doing so bad things during the Asahel. Is it Asahel or something like that? And Ben-Hadad, and during the Sennacherib times of ruling Nineveh and Assyria. How did Jonah position himself to hear the voice of God? If you look at this story of Jonah, we do not see the reason why God explicitly he chose to speak with Jonah. But if you look at it, if you can look at it in Jonah 4 and verse Jonah is defining it. He is saying, I knew. Jonah is saying, I knew you are a compassionate God. That is why I had said, I do not go to these people. So what was the reason? The mercies of God. Jonah 4 and verse 2, 3 there. Mercies of God.